Well, today's the big day. We're headed off to South Dakota. One of the things that you have to decide when you're going to be on the road and you don't really have a home base anymore is, as far as a physical address, where you're going to get your mail and make that your address. And we chose South Dakota, and we're headed to America's Mailbox, and it's located in Box Elder, South Dakota. So this morning we're taking off there. We're going to just do this in a couple days. South Dakota requires that you spend one night overnight, take a paid receipt into the DMV and into the vehicle registration place, and then you can get your license and get your vehicles licensed. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend the night tonight and actually stay there probably for the next couple nights. We're going to get our residency changed to South Dakota, and then we're also going to visit Mount Rushmore and Devis Tower. Both pretty interesting sites that we've always wanted to see, so we're going to make it a fun little trip, and so we'll kind of update you as we go, and we'll see what it takes to become a resident of South Dakota. Okay, the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to program in where we're headed. And we are going to 514 America's Way. In South Dakota. See if it finds that much. Box Elder, which is just outside of Rapid City. So here we go.
Obey traffic laws, be alert, and use voice commands while driving. Please proceed to the highlighted route, and then the route guidance will start.
So you can see over here it's 666 miles we're going to drive today, big long trip, and it's going to take us a little over 10 hours. So here we go. Okay, we have arrived at our destination. It's just taken us a little over 10 hours to get here, and it's called America's Mailbox. So this is where we now receive our mail, and this is where we're going to stay for the night. They also have RV parking here, but they have a little hotel, so we're going to stay. We got like 3 or 4 rooms, so we're going to stay in the room because we did not bring Beulah with us. So we don't, and it looks like it's cold because it says it's 42 degrees outside, and looks like a storm is coming through, and they just got a whole bunch of snow over the weekend. I'm going to drive around the park just to see what it all has. But pretty small little area, kind of just stuck in here. So the idea is you have to stay one night in South Dakota. Once you've done that, you can then go to the DMV and claim your residency as South Dakota after staying one night and showing the receipt. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to spend the night tonight, and then we'll show our receipt to the DMV tomorrow and get our driver's licenses. So hopefully the weather will hold up. Pretty windy and cloudy. Had a beautiful day all day, and this is just kind of the end of the trip. Looks like a storm coming in. Any comments, dear?
We're here.
Yep. Long day. It's only 10 hours, but it just kind of takes your toll on you while you're driving. But really nice weather. It was really cool going through the little piece of the Black Mountains that we went through. The rest of it's pretty desolate and flat, especially going across Wyoming. So we are here. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Well, good morning. So today is our first day after spending the night in South Dakota. So that's the first requirement of taking out residency here, is to spend one night. So we have done that. We came down to the office, and as soon as we walked in the door, they say, "Welcome home." And when we checked in last night, we got here a little bit later, so they were closed, but they had a key out for us and could allow us to get that key so we could get into our room. And on the envelope it said "Welcome home, Tigners." So very personable. They treat everybody as family, and that's what's one of the really cool things about this place here. So we went in this morning and worked with the staff to get all our paperwork done, so that we can just head over to the DMV and just not have to fill it out there. But we had to take 2 or 3 times making mistakes on the application, and they were really good to work with us on that. So pretty good service. I'm going to include the YouTube link in our description, and at the end of this video I'll put it up there. I think it's a really great service, and it's really good for individuals that are looking to go on the road full time, so, or just not having a permanent address where they can, the mail service can get to you. So pretty cool. We like it, and right now we're going to head off to the DMV to take care of our driver's license. Okay, well, we've spent the night in South Dakota. We've got our receipts, we got everything right here, our paperwork and things, and we are now going to head into the DMV to get our new driver's licenses and take up residency now in South Dakota. So we'll be back. Well, the whole process of getting our driver's license was pretty darn quick. Let's see, we're probably in there about 15 minutes, and cost $28. Is that even? $28 even each. Good for 5 years, and we're now headed over to the place to get our vehicles licensed. So that's our next stop. Well, we're here at the administration building to get our license plates done for our vehicles now. So we'll see how long this takes. I'm told that there's lots of lines and it takes a long time, so we'll see. So we're done with the registration of our vehicles. Got our license plates in hand. It took us about 45 minutes to get through, so actually not bad. They had a big blizzard on Friday, so they were closed, so a lot of people extra in today. But of course this is kind of the off season, I think, so good time to come. So it's April right now, so they say they do get pretty busy later. So anyway, so we're all done. So we're complete residents now, and we've got our license plates. So now it is time to go check out some of the sites. So our next stop is going to be going to Mount Rushmore, which is only like about 40 miles away. So we're going to go there and see what that's all about. So we'll be kind of talking about that in a minute too. So 11:25, they want to make sure you don't miss nothing.
There are a lot of people here in the summer. So it's cooler, I would think. Here. Free walking. Okay. It's cute.
Got that road there. Somewhere.
Fudge and stuff. It's like a little tourist. I have the stuff.
Well, this is a surprise that it is such a touristy place and have all the extra little things. All kinds of cool stuff. This is the other thing that looks
Holy
really
Terror.
Holy Terror miniature golf course. That looks like that might be fun. Everything's closed down for the winter. So we're here at the Mount Rushmore National Monument, just getting ready to go inside. So we are, of course, in the off season. The season opens up, the Memorial Day weekend is the start of the season. That's when town hall opens up, all those things that we've seen down in town. And they do have an audio tour. It's $5 for an individual, up to $15 for a family. It goes up, there's a big trail that goes up around the monument, everything. but all of that is closed right now because if you can see, I'll pan around here, they did get quite a bit of snow over this last week, and so all the trails are pretty icy. There's no snow. We got a pretty good view of the monument from here. So we're just going to go up to the top and just kind of take a gander. We're not going to do the audio tour at this point. Well, this is pretty impressive. Like I said, this is off season, so they said during the regular season time frame they get about 30,000 visitors a day. So maybe this is really a good time to come, even though the audio is down right now, and that's only down because of the weather. So these pillars leading up to the Grand Terrace view of the Mount Rushmore, each side of them contain a different state or area, islands, different things that were added to the United States, that were part of the United States. So when they were admitted to the Union, the date, and which number they were. So here's Utah. This is where we were a resident yesterday, and today now we are part of South Dakota. So here is the Grand View Terrace. You can walk out here to get the best view of the monument. It's pretty amazing how large it is, and how pretty impressive it is. The amount of work that had to been put in to make this. So any of you that have seen National Treasures, of course that's all Hollywood, and there is no access above where you see the scree field there. The trail is right below that goes around it, so that's the closest you get to the monument, and there's no access to above there either. It's all shut off, no access. So within National Monuments they showed panning up over the sculptures to a nice lake up there. That's what did you call that? Silver Lake? Silver Reef Lake or something like that. It's in Custer State Park, which is just a few miles. I think that's south from here. Custer State Park, so one of the largest state parks in the United States, and it's got a really pretty lake there, and that's and the hiking area and the area that they also showed in the movie. That's where a lot of it was filmed. So if you go to that state park, which we don't have plans to do that right this minute, but anyway, that's one of the big things on that one. So okay, well, we've been going through the monument. We went through they have a theater that we watched a movie that, and then also a number of different displays. Pretty impressive area. I'd say that everybody really needs to come and see this. The interesting thing I found is that, we've got the 4 different presidents up here. I would kind of have thought when they first were creating this, it would have just been like the first 4 presidents of the United States. But each one of these individuals had a certain thing that they offered, and that's why they were remembered. So George Washington's the first one, the most prominent one up there. He is the father of our country. Thomas Jefferson, he did the Louisiana Purchase. He was the nation's builder, so he started building the nation, so that's what he's kind of remembered for. And then Theodore Roosevelt, who was more into the conservation thing, conserving, everything that's going on, set up the U.S. Forest Service, things like that to conserve what was going on with the land so it was available for people later. And then, of course, Abraham Lincoln was the one that was actually bringing the country together when the states were fighting each other. So he's known for that. So that's why those 4 individuals are up on the mountain there. Pretty impressive sculptures. One thing I got to point out here that's pretty cool, though, too, is if you look really close, and it might be kind of hard to see with this, but you got Thomas Jefferson. He's got his eyeglasses actually outlined there, so it makes him look like he's got glasses on. I thought that was pretty cool. So definitely some time and thought that went into this. It took years and years for them to do it. I can't remember how many, 17 years? 17 years to perfect all this and get it done. Oh, and one thing was 90% of the sculpturing on this was done with dynamite. They learned how to cut dynamite sticks to certain lengths to blast out certain areas and things, and then the rest of it was done with, what are they called?
Jackhammers.
Jackhammers, yeah. So then they used jackhammers and drills and things. So it looked like in the movie, it looked like they were having fun, just kind of bouncing back from place to place. They were hanging there and jackhammering certain things out. They'd get pretty close with the dynamite and then clean everything up and then use hammers and
and chisels and things to kind of do it all. So the guy that started all, or the master sculptor, is Borgman, and he was the guy that overseen it, but there was a lot of individuals that they hired to come and help, you know, from carrying dynamite to doing all the drilling to blasting, things like that. So a lot of people did this, and this was one of those things back in the early days, right? Just like a lot of other projects that went on to employ people, give them, you know, jobs and things, and the government financed all that. So, but one thing is out of all the work that they did over the 14 years that they were working, the conditions weren't the greatest, but there was never a death. Pretty impressive. We'll probably give a few more little tidbits here and there as we leave, but that's it for now. Well, we have all kinds of cool things here: marketplace, ice cream parlor, gift shop. This is kind of the commercial side of the monument, but enough, if we're getting 30,000 people a day here, then that's going to feed them. So we're leaving the monument, and now we are headed down back to Rapid City, or Box Elder, where we actually are staying. And we're going to go back through this little town just at the bottom. I guess with 30,000 people coming in a day, you can imagine why there's so many things down here. So we're going to take a closer look at what's available as we leave. So there's a far off picture of Devil's Tower coming in view. So this is the entrance to Devil's Tower. So you can do just a 7-day pass for $20, or you can do a Devil's Tower only pass for $40, or the interagency annual pass for $80. So if you are planning on visiting very many national parks, it's well worth your money to buy the $80 pass, and it pays for itself very quickly. Well, we have made it. We're at the visitor center of Devil's Tower, and we have just gone inside and looked around, talked to the ranger a little bit, kind of get some ideas of what's going on. We're going to go on a little hike, and we're going to talk about the tower. It rises just over 1,000 feet from where I'm at. We are going to head up the trail that goes around the Devil's Tower. It's 1.3 miles, so we're going to do that walk. It's a paved trail, so we'll see how difficult that is as we go up the tower. So here's a view of looking up the tower from this angle right here. The tower rises over 1,000 feet, has a lot of climbing routes on it, some definitely easier than others, and some pretty hard ones. There's no overnight camping, so you have to go up and come down in one day. So the tower climbing routes are made up of trad and sport climbing. The routes that aren't very popular still have old 1/4-inch hangers on them, so you've got to be careful which routes you take, and they've been trying to keep the hangers up to date, but just on the more popular routes have the better hangers on them. The old 1/4 hangers only went in by about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, where the new hangers go in 3 inches with a 3/8 inch bolt. Well, 3/8 inch to 1/2 inch bolt. So is what they're using on the tower now. paved trail all the way around the tower. So one of the advantages of tower trail is to walk all the way around the tower. You see all different sides of the tower and how each side just differs just a little bit. So kind of climber's paradise. You have to register to be able to climb the tower. It does not cost to register. You just register to climb the tower. The Indian folklore is that the Devil's Tower rised up and took the Indians straight up, and a big bear was trying to get them. And that's why it's got the different marks on it. So where we're at right now, which is at the very base of the scree field of the tower still rises almost 900 feet up into the air. The top of the tower is it's kind of a rounded flat thing. Just a lot of different rocks up there, but there's not much up on top. This is a view from our place where we've hiked up to now, that's of the valley below. This is the off season. During the full season, or throughout the whole year, the park receives about 500,000 visitors. Most of them during the first few months of the summer. So this section of the rock has this big base area. I almost think I could actually climb that part of it. The upper tower portion seems like it might be a little bit harder for sure. But as we work our way around the tower, you can see that some sides are definitely a lot easier to climb than others. So this little section right here going straight up, we're at the bottom of the base now. That almost looks like you could climb that, but you know that the trick is everything always looks easier until you get up there. So we are walking around the base of, I'm not sure what direction that is. It's got to be on the west side based on kind of where the sun is. And this particular side of the tower is, the trail is right at the base. There's no scree field really. And it's just straight up from here. Just impressive how high it goes up and the type of rock it is. This is the base of the tower. This is looks like the east side with all the lichen on it. We've moved around to the north side of the tower. Now we're starting to see a little bit of snow still in certain areas. It's again the off season. As usual, there's not a lot of people here in the off season, but it's also colder. So some things are closed. So another cool thing about visiting the mountain during the off season, at least this particular national monument, is that it's nice and quiet, and you don't have all the other people around to bother you as you take in this magnificent wonder. So Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out just over 40 years ago, about 41 years ago now. They actually have a shirt inside the visitor center commemorating the anniversary of that. Instead of saying Encounters of the Third Kind, they've changed the shirt to say Encounters of the Best Kind. But 40 years ago, that movie made this spot pretty popular, even more than it was before. So this is the last picture of the tower as we finish the hike around. 1.3 miles. Really nice hike and a nice time out in nature. This is the crack climbing demonstration wall. Kind of gives you an idea of setting the trad gear in the wall as they're climbing up. Some of the hangers that on the more popular routes that have been replaced, this is what they look like instead of the old metal ones like this. So here we are at the exit point of Devil's Tower. So we're going to stop out here at these stores right here. There's a KOA over here for camping. but nothing like what was up at Mount Rushmore. It's just a little gift shop here, and that's about it.